Hello! Shortly, our lovely artist Jess is going to show you in one of her mini masterclasses how to make your very own stone carving. This stone carving here, which is the one she's going to use as a model, is from the 12th century and was originally carved to go in the Bradwell Priory Church. It was found several centuries later on elsewhere, but you will learn more about that story if you keep watching our YouTube channel for our Eleanor Head story. But for now, enjoy your sculpture class.
Hi, my name's Jessita. I'm a project manager at Interaction MK, and as Noah has given you the historic background of the Eleanor Head, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how to make that head out of clay. So we're just using air drying clay. I'm going to run you through step by step on how to make this. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the materials of what materials you need. So I'm just going to pop this one here. So you will need some air drying clay. So I've got some grey air drying clay here, and what we're going to do is once we've made the head is we're going to paint it to give it that stone look again. You need a rolling pin because basically the clay, it is soft, but you kind of need to like shift it and roll it a little bit to make it a little bit more softer and malleable and easier to work with. You need some tools. So again, really simple. I've just got a knife, a normal kitchen knife and a fork. So we'll need that. You need a bit of water and a paintbrush as well. And then basically the paints we're going to be using is a nice portrait pink paint, basically like a nice little nude colour. I've got a dark brown here and I've also got an orange. And you will need a sponge. Again, I'm using a kitchen sponge, so it's absolutely fine to use one of those, or if you've got any other sponges you can use, that's also fine. You also need some sort of a base to work on. So I'm basically using canvas board, but if you've got a wooden slab you can use, that's also absolutely fine. I'm going to start off by showing you how to make the shape of the head first, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do the features after that. So I've got my big chunk of clay here. So what I'm going to do first is this has just been cut off from a larger chunk of clay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these bits off first. These bits I can use after for the features. So first I'm just going to use my hands. Make sure you, when you do work with clay, you need to make sure that you wash your hands after and use moisturising cream because clay kind of dries your hands out a lot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just try and make it into kind of like a circle, so then we can roll it out and then we'll be able to cut the shape of the Eleanor Head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lift it and we're going to pop it down onto the base that I'm using, because once it's on there I'm not going to take it off after that. So what you want to do is you kind of want to flatten it down a little bit as much as you can onto your base, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out with a rolling pin and then cut around to make the shape of the head. What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to use the other end of my knife, drawing it out with a pencil. So I'm just going to score out where I'm going to cut around it just to make sure that I've got the right shape before I just go in with the knife and cut it. So I'm just going to draw a straight line across there. I'm going to come up to do that top notch. Like I said, it's like a little crown. And then I'm going to go along there. So that's your top part of the head. And then I'm going to choose a section where I can go all the way down. Just two straight lines, that's all you need. Two straight lines going all the way down. I'm going to move this one along a little bit, just so I can go down lower. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the chin shape at the bottom. So we're going to cut in maybe about 2/3 of the way down and go in at an angle and do the same thing on the other side. Try to keep that angle the same if you can, but no worries if not. And then I'm just going to round it off at the bottom there. I'm going to use the other side of my knife now, and I'm just going to stab the knife in and kind of move it up and down and moving it along as I go. So I'm just following the line of what I drew earlier. Should be left with something like this. So as you can see, the edges are a bit uneven. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of get rid of and slice off as much as I can around the edge there. So the next step now is kind of like smoothing it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smoothen the edges, just using the thumbs. Use both of your thumbs and kind of just drag it along. You'll be able to know with the softness of the clay how much pressure you need to put down onto that clay. You can kind of reshape it if you need to by kind of pushing down. What we're going to do now is I'm going to score off where the crown kind of like ends. So I'm going to use the tip of the knife, not the other end. like so. So that just separates your crown from your head. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of, again like we did earlier where we mapped out the shape before we cut it, we're going to map out where the facial features are going to go before we actually get down to making it and then sticking them on. So like we've got here, you've got kind of like two curves coming down like that, and then it comes down into your nose, and then you just got your mouth underneath it. So it's very simple. There's only a few features here that we need to do. So what we're going to do is we're just going to push with the thumbs where we've done our two arches here. So we're going to grab the thumbs and we're just going to push the clay in. So again, you're using your thumbs to kind of like go with the shapes. You're kind of tracing that line with your thumb. Where the smile lines are, we're going to kind of push our thumbs into that bit as well, but only slightly. And I'm just going to take a little bit off from the tip of the nose. So you can kind of see where it's taking shape now. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding some more 3D bits on top of it. Let's start with the eyes. So what we're going to do is with your excess clay that you've got from when we cut around the edges, is we're just going to take a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it into a ball first. I'm just going to press it a little bit, and then we're going to make it into kind of like an oval shape. So I'm just going to pinch the edges here like this. I'm going to push down the middle just to kind of make that oval eye shape. You've got to score the bit that you're going to put on, and you also need to score the base bit of what you're going to put it onto. Basically what that does is it just kind of raises the surface on both sides, and then you add a little bit of water, and then it kind of like sticks it in, it kind of slots in together, and it just makes it stick a lot easier. What we're going to do is we're just going to add a bit of water onto your back of your eye, and then again we're going to add a little bit of water of where we're going to stick it to. That basically just makes it that little bit more stickier. With clay you don't really work with glue. This water is basically kind of your glue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to basically smoothen out the back of the eye where we did the scorings. Perfect, so now we've got our two eyes done. We're going to now work onto the nose. So for the nose, what we're going to do is instead of doing the whole long bit, we're just going to do like a nice little small chunk. We're going to use it to push it upwards, and we're going to basically do like one chunk which is going to be the bottom of your nose, and we're going to push the clay up just to kind of mould it into the bit where the eye goes, your T-zone. So you kind of want it to be like a triangular kind of shape, wider at the bottom and a bit thinner at the top. And remember with your back, you need to kind of push that down so you get a bit of surface area so we can score it and do the same thing as we did with the eyes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my finger and press down here at the top of the nose, and I'm basically going to drag it upwards so it smoothens and meets with the same line on the top. So what we're going to do with the bottom of the nose is you kind of want to do your two nostrils. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my nails, I'm just going to push them into, just going to push two holes in. What we're going to do now is we're going to do the lips. Now the lips are a little bit easier. Basically all you're going to do is you're going to create two sausages and two thinner sausages, and then we're just going to shape them as lips. There we go. So we've got our eyes, we've got our nose, and we've got our mouth. And that is your shape of the Eleanor head. The Eleanor head's kind of like a sandy colour. It's like a sandy stone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my sponge. So we're going to start off with the cream colour, and then we're going to go in with a bit of brown and a bit of the orange, just to kind of add little accents of another colour in there. There we go, and that's basically your Eleanor head.